Broadway will dim its lights today to honor the late Lauren Bacall, as she was a two-time Best Actress Tony Award winner, did you know, for her roles in two different musicals there, as she died Tuesday at the age of 89. So it's 30 minutes past the hour. And any moment now, we're supposed to learn the identity of the officer, the name of the officer who shot and killed 18-year-old Michael Brown in Ferguson, Missouri last weekend. The protesters have been pushing for this for days now. Who is the accused officer? Well, legal analyst Mo Ivory is back with us today, this time here in the studio, and we really appreciate your time.
Thank you.
And Mo is a legal analyst, so I want to start with some of those legal questions.
Sure.
And from some of our viewers, they'll say, is it a good idea to release the name of the officer when so many people are upset? A good idea, a legal idea, it is legal.
Sure, it is absolutely legal, and actually a procedural thing that happens most times. We don't often go this amount of time, 5-6 days, without knowing who the officer was that killed a suspect, a victim, whatever it is.
Yeah.
So it isn't practice to withhold the officer's name. Now, there is, under law, an exception if it puts the officer in grave danger or puts society in grave danger for them to hold it back. But it also creates, like we've talked so much about this case, a real cloak of the police officers not wanting to be transparent. And that is what has happened in Ferguson. So on top of the looting and the rioting and the protests that have not been so peaceful, or the overexertion of police authority, then you have this whole issue of they're keeping information from us. Not only the name of the officer, but also the autopsy report. There has been an autopsy. They will not release the results of the autopsy.
And that seems strange, and it seems strange not to give out all the information.
Exactly.
If it doesn't hamper the investigation.
Exactly.
But on the issue of safety, though, you had mentioned there is a Missouri law that provides specific exemption barring the release of records if they think that it's likely to pose a clear and present danger to people involved. So how's the patches at the time, though, and the increase in the calls perhaps add to that possibility of danger?
Sure. I think the only thing that could be more a bigger problem than the possibility of danger to the officer is the possibility of danger to the public and the outcry that happens and the danger that can come with that, which we've already seen happen. So I think that at this point outweighs the safety of the concern about the safety of the officer. And that's why so quickly, after things sort of turned around, after President Obama spoke yesterday and Attorney General Eric Holder went to Ferguson and spoke with the parents and all that, I think that we've now seen them turn a corner in the Ferguson Police Department and say, you know what, there's been so much unrest that the good and prudent thing for us to do now is to release the officer's name. And quickly, we heard last night, we're going to release the officer's name in the morning. So I think they've weighed the unrest with the public versus the safety of the officer and decided they need to release the name.
Here's what the police chief had to say about the officer, because obviously this person has a family as well that is now concerned.
How does he feel about what's going on?
He's devastated by this. He's heartbroken. This is his community. You know, he never wanted any of this to happen. And he certainly is heartbroken by the continuous violence that's been going on. You know, it's tough. It's hard.
Now, they had on the picture there, though, they were showing the state trooper, who is a member of the Ferguson community as well. And what a difference one day made. What does that show you about the tactics and maybe what has to be made up to the community here if a state trooper can come in and in one day you see a big difference?
Yes. Ron Johnson, that gentleman that you see right there, he grew up in Ferguson. They brought him in because they believed that he could bring calm to the situation. Obviously, he has learned over the years some methods, some tools, some practices that Ferguson police officers have not learned. Because in less than 24 hours, you saw him greeting the crowd, speaking with people, calming frustrations, even if he didn't have answers. Because I did see one person ask him, well, what about this or this? And he said, you know, I don't have the answers to that, but I'll be back tomorrow. I'll try to find some answers for you, and I'll come and talk to you again tomorrow. It's about respect. It's about validating people's need to protest peacefully. It's about saying that we will not treat you like we are at war with you. And it's
with armored vehicles, with the whole appearance that was trying.
Yes. And so I believe that the Ferguson Police Department, specifically the chief, this is on the chief's hands. You know, if I was a Ferguson Ferguson resident right now, I'd be calling for his resignation, because he is the one who made all the calls to respond in that very military manner. So Mr. Johnson has been able to come in, calm people down, and really relate. Right, that's all he did, Robin, was he came and he just related. He said, "I understand."
And he walked with people,
and he walked, and he talked,
protests.
and he respected, and he validated their pain. Nobody before that has done that.
Let's hope that the peaceful protests continue, as we're about to learn supposedly the name of the officer who is the person who shot and killed Michael Brown. So we're waiting on that information. Mo, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Great insights.
Thank you.
You know, the investigation into Army Sergeant Bo Bergdahl